Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Netflix's newest horror trilogy. Specifically though, the first installment, Fear Street 1994. We're going back to my high school days. That is why I busted out my flannel. Now these series of films are adapted from R.L. Stine's young adult book series. A lot of people will know this name, know them from that. So the quick little 2-cent sofa synopsis on this is, this film is taking place in Shadyside, Ohio. That's right, you heard it, Shadyside, Ohio. We are venturing into the lives of a group of teenagers. They are trying to track down a witch and the curse that seems to be taking out all of their friends. As usual in movies like this, the adults are off doing adult things and the kids have to save the day. Now the whole backdrop to this movie, Shadyside, Ohio, it's kind of like being sold as like a dead-end town. Nothing's going on there. Your best thing that you could ever do is to leave the place, and it borders a town called Sunnyvale, which as you can imagine, just like the names are opposite, so are the towns, and that's like the place to go, the place to be. And so they're really setting the precedence with that, I think, for things to come, as well as just how this movie is laid out. Now as far as vibes go, think Stranger Things, think Goonies, think I Know What You Did Last Summer, think Scream, think Hocus Pocus. Basically this has a big budget feel, but it also has like some pretty gruesome aspects to it. Not so over the top, but it's enough where I was like, I didn't expect that. Oh my lord, I had to clutch my pearls. Also, let's just talk about, in general, it serves a fall vibe as if pumpkin spice lattes just rolled out at Starbucks. Again, hence my little fall flannel here. Yo, when I was watching this, I was like, oh my god, this movie, just like Hocus Pocus. For me, Hocus Pocus is a very fall vibe movie. This had that too. I don't know why, but it did. So for me, I was like, this would be such a great movie for October, yada yada yada, but it doesn't matter. It's still great to watch now anyways. Now there's also the nostalgia. Okay, we're talking 1994. We're talking, like I said, my high school years. We're talking malls. We're talking mixtapes. We're talking Walkmans. So all that is there. I personally was like, okay, so this was like my time here, and I was looking at it through the lens of, are they butchering this? And it, you know, part of me was like, is this forced nostalgia? But then the telltale for me was in the high school scenes, and I was like, if everyone is wearing a flannel in there, I know they tried too hard, and surprisingly they weren't. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm down with a nostalgia vibe in this, on point. And on the note of nostalgia, like if you were growing up in the 90s, or you know, at that age where you're listening to music, you will recognize every song they use in this. But again, it wasn't like over the top with it. But I mean, even if, and I don't want to spoil it or anything like that, but a couple of them I was like, oh my god, I haven't heard that song in forever. You know what I'm saying? I went to my little, you know, YouTube music and downloaded it and all that. So excellent on all fronts. Y'all, we have reached that time in the review where we are going to be talking a little bit about the storyline. Now here's the thing, full transparency. I'm not going to be talking about major plot lines. I'm not going to be talking about the major twist. But if you want to walk into this like 100% like I have no idea what's going on, then just be alerted that we're entering spoiler alert nation. So like I said, visually, all that kind of stuff, the movie was very interesting to watch. It was pretty much absent of adults, which I think is like a key element in movies like this. So it did create this vacuum for the teenagers to almost feel like, okay, you know, they're stuck and alone and isolated. Now, as far as the whole, like, the kills go and stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, they're chasing down this, you know, this witch, whatever, trying to figure out, you know, what is picking off our friends one by one. So while this had that Hocus Pocus feel to it, I mean, they definitely had kills in it that I was like, oh, whoa, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Because it had that vibe of, we've watered this down, yada, 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 but they really hadn't. It got more intense towards the end where like one, and again, I'm not going to tell you, one of them I was like, oh my god. I mean, they are ruthless. You know, I was just like, I was not expecting that at all. So that part, they did a really good job with. Again, it wasn't like, if you asked me like, okay, Paul, are we talking Chainsaw Massacre? Are we talking Friday the 13th? Are we talking like a Scream? I'm like, more like a Scream, but even Scream I would say was more over the top. So it's just not that hardcore gruesome, but yeah, it deserves an R rating in that way because there is blood and stuff. Now, like I said, there's an appropriate amount of twists and turns to the story that makes you go, oh, okay, cool, didn't see that coming. And so it kept it interesting. There's an appropriate amount of jump scares. Did this movie have me like peeled to the edge of my seat like dying? No, it did not. It didn't. Maybe if I had been in the theater it would have, but there was still something tame about it, if that makes sense. Almost like it took kind of a long time to get going, and I don't even know if that's the right word for it. It was tame in that way. If you know me by now, you know that I watch a ton of horror films, and so for me it's one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, unless it's way out there and I'm talking like a Chainsaw Massacre, you know, these movies that just disturbed us, it doesn't really scare me unless it's like a quick jump scare. So this one had that tame vibe. I wasn't going to lose sleep over it. None of that. Now, one thing it does really well, and of course, obviously the beginning, but it all kind of ties in towards the end, where you see how they have set you up for the next one. So they do a great job of that. It definitely makes you say, what's the next one? Now, for me, here's how it went. Was I like, oh my God, stop everything you're doing, I'm watching the next one? No, I was not. I was like, okay, I'll get to it. You know, I was like, I'll get to it. So it wasn't like me dying to go see it. Again, I was almost like, man, I wish that I had watched these in the fall for the first time because it just has that. To me, the second one looks like it's serving Friday the 13th. I am very curious to see, and honestly, I'm probably going to watch it tonight because I am curious enough to be like, well, let's go see what it is. So again, my sofa take on it, did it make me put my phone down? Yes, it did for the most part. I, in the beginning, was kind of like back and forth with the phone, but the movie won out over the phone. So there's that. No, it's not a kid's movie. It's not that at all. It's rated R. There's rated R for a reason. If you're into something a little bit more tame horror, but you like that, you'll probably enjoy this. And so I recommend watching it. I really enjoyed it. I like how this was packaged up for Netflix. It was originally supposed to, like, this movie got made during a lot of mergers and stuff like that of companies, and basically this was like a Disney thing, and there's no way this would ever match Disney's brand. So I'm glad that it ended up on Netflix the way they did it. I'm sure it went over well. And that they do more things like this, because I just love being able to access it quickly and not, oh, let's wait another year and yada yada yada, that whole thing. I love just being like, boom boom boom, here's these 3 movies and they all go together, they all tie in, almost like a series. So anyways, thank you for watching my little review. If you're still here and you want to see my commentary on true crime, don't forget to check out my true crime channel, reporting live from my sofa. Links are down in the description. Thank you very much, and until my next movie binge, I'll see you then.